foundation of our republic. We want to educate, encourage, enable the power. We stand for integrity, honesty, self-reliance, self-defense, and most importantly, no compromise on our foundational principles. This is America's Voice Now.
Find America's Voice Now on Facebook and at americasvoicenow.org. Here's Michael Evans.
Good morning, America. You're listening to America's Voice right here, right now. Glad to have you on board. For those of you that are catching us live on our website, always glad to see you out there. I see a ton of you out there this morning. Clarksville, not quite sure where that is. Clarksville looks like Tennessee or something. Sioux Falls, let's see, Lincoln, I see Magnolia, not quite sure where that is either. Huntington. Some of these cities I don't know. I see folks out there out of Spokane, California. I see Florida out there. I see the East Coast. Looks like there's a whole bunch of dots over there. They're so confused I can't see which cities they're from. Well, thank you very much for joining with us. Appreciate your visiting with us this morning. And we're going to cover 4 different topics as our normal standard is. And the purpose behind what we try to do here is to educate and enlighten you as to what's happening in our nation, what is transpiring on a daily basis, so that you have the opportunity to utilize critical thinking to understand where you're being played, frankly. The Ministry of Propaganda, that would be the mainstream media, the 6 major corporations that own all the media that you hear, see, read, smell, taste. They're determined that you are going to succumb to their idea of a world shaped and molded in their particular slant. I and many others in the alternative media are determined to give you the truth. And so we try to take a look at these stories that are out there on a daily basis and kind of bring you up to speed on not so much what they're telling you, because you can read that for yourself. What we try to do is to show you the side that they're not telling you, because quite honestly, that's generally more important than what they are telling you. So anyway, our topics this morning are going to be Dirty Harry on the King's decrees for Obamacare. You know, Dirty Harry kills me. This guy is the most corrupt, archaic piece of trash in the Senate. There is not a human being on the planet that has a deeper level of hooks in corruption and a greater level of willingness to betray his own nation than Dirty Harry Reid. I got to tell you, this guy just kills me. The second topic is Media Shield law that is being proposed by Chuck Hit-the-Fan Schumer. This is nothing more than a thinly veiled attempt to license journalists. Now, some of you may say, well, what is the difference whether they license journalists? Because a license means that you are given permission now to act in a certain way. And when you transgress the boundaries of that way, you stray from the path of what the license allows you to do, you can be removed from the boat, kicked off the island, as it were. Here's the problem. Your free speech is not a license. Your free speech is given to you by a power far greater than ourselves. You can call it a creator, you can call it the universe, you can call it karma, you can call it whatever you like. But our founders didn't give it to us, and the Constitution doesn't give it to us. All they do is delineate it in writing. They gave it to us in an outline, but recognize that it's only an outline. There is no reason for government to determine who has free speech and who doesn't. On its face, just that statement alone is proof of their treason. That's it. Our third topic, real inflation, real unemployment. Ladies and gentlemen, these numbers if you know what the real numbers are, not the sham numbers the government gives you that they can manipulate with charts and statistics and Excel spreadsheets, the real numbers, they are staggering. We are in a deflationary period now that is comparable to what we went through in the Great Depression. Inflation is well over 10%. Truth. And unemployment is realistically at least 14, if not as high as 20%. I'm going to show you some charts. Well, I'm not going to show you some charts. I'm going to talk to you about some charts, and I'll give you links in the bodies. They're up on our Facebook and YouTube pages and all that stuff. All right. Our fourth and final topic is raw truth. Can you handle the raw truth and the fix for America? I'll be honest with you. Most people can't. And I know that for a fact. You know how I know that? Because we haven't. It's real simple. No one can deny at this point that we're in trouble. No one. And yet we continue to bet good money after bad on the same exact things that got us here in the first place. That tells me that people aren't willing to change their ways and or give up what is to them their particular flight of fancy, whatever they get out of it. In some cases that's, security. Some cases that's food and sustenance. Some cases it's housing. Some cases it's just free crap. Some cases it's a promise of a seat at the table. This is the table of tyranny that rises like a phoenix from the ashes of liberty. So the truth is, it's time for America to come to a decision-making process here and have a come-to-Jesus meeting with our mirrors. When I say that, I mean that it's time for us to be introspective and realistic about what our chances are and what we need to do to try to put some semblance of control back into the hands of people and take it away from the small oligarchy of tyrants. I mean, we're talking a few thousand people, folks. The problem is I don't think a lot of folks are willing to do what it's going to take. Yesterday, I outlined a group of solutions that you can take as a partisan. And that's a term that you should become extraordinarily familiar and comfortable with. You are a partisan. What exactly does that mean? Well, we're going to explore it in the fourth segment, but it's an important one, so I strongly encourage you to listen up and begin to think outside of the parallel that you've been given, the parallel lines. Stop coloring in the lines and let your mind get creative. Let's talk about our first topic, Harry Reid. Harry slays me, literally and figuratively, actually. He comes out and says that the reason Obamacare is not taking off is because people aren't educated on how to use the internet. Now, just yesterday, I posted up on our Facebook page a picture of about 20 kids walking down the street, and all of them were head bent over looking at their phone screen. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? I mean, that's all this generation does. And let's be candid, those are the people they want. They don't want fogies like me. They want 20-somethings, 30-somethings who are healthy and are willing to pay for the people my age and older. So who is he trying to kid? The people that he's talking about here, the youth in our country, they know more about the internet. They've forgotten more about the internet than Harry Reid knows. Harry Reid, the dust cloud of the Senate. So I've come up with a new statement for Harry, and somebody should make a meme out of this. Hear ye, by decree of the king, all spoons are forthwith banned, and no person shall be fat. Further, by order of the king, our King Barack Obama, all pencils are hereby banned, and no spelling errors shall be made forthwithsooth. Signed, Dirty Harry, Sheriff of Nothingham. Dirty Harry just kills me. Because there is no one in the public visage, except perhaps Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein. But he says that it's not that the internet service or system doesn't work and the internet website for healthcare.gov don't work. That's not the problem. But people aren't educated on how to use the internet. Now, perhaps that's just a thinly veiled ploy for more money to educate the masses, that he can skim some piece off the top for his home state of Nevada and the gambling companies that live there, which is very typical of Harry, by the way. Go look at his history. You know, the gambling companies in Las Vegas get almost as much money from the government as they do from you. It's amazing, right? They're actually dipping on both ends. And then they pay no taxes. So, hey, you know, what's what could possibly go wrong? But when he's talking here about his reasoning, which I use that term very lightly and with a lot of sarcasm, he says that many people just don't know how to use their computers properly, and they need more time. Well, the truth is, the only guy who's got a higher negativity rating on the planet right at the present moment than Barack Obama would be maybe Harry Reid. And anything that Harry says, you can bet, is couched as and you have to understand exactly from whence it comes. Everything that Harry does is designed around one focal point, and that is the push towards the party, the idea of making sure that the party survives at all costs. And these guys have a scorched earth mentality about them. In other words, they're like the guy who's losing the war, and he's now defending his last home city. And he says, if I can't have it, it doesn't matter if I injure my own country. I'm going to destroy this city so they can't have it. Or like the guy who beats his wife because he hates her guts. And he says, but if I can't have her, nobody else can either. Hello. I mean, it's just inconceivable to me. He would rather see this nation destroyed than to see it operate the way our founders intended. He would rather see millions of Americans die than for his precious party to lose favor and power. Couldn't care less. He is the epitome of an oligarch, a corrupt and tyrant of evil. He's got a brief segment here where he talks, and you can just hear in his voice the disdain he feels for those of us, of course, who are the subject of his disgust.
We've had a number of these delays, and I know you say that this is giving more people the opportunity to sign up and so on. But when they do have these hiccups or have these delays, doesn't that...
He's got a poster up here. He's standing at a news conference, and somebody's asking him a question. And he's got a poster up here that says, "A fair shot for everyone." I mean, if Harry told me that it was daylight outside, I would have to actually go to the window and pull the curtain back to verify.
Or delay. We have.
Here he comes with his sing-song voice. Oh, come on, for
No
Christ's sake.
hiccup or delay. We have hundreds of thousands of people who tried to sign up and they didn't get through. There was a wonderful piece on public radio a couple of days ago. Connecticut. They're doing extremely well with healthcare, and what they've done is set up a couple of stores that people can come in and get their healthcare. It's worked out very well. And listening to that piece reminds me of why we had to extend this time. There are some people who are not like my grandchildren who can handle everything so easily on the internet. And these people need a little extra time. It's not, the example they gave is a 63-year-old woman came in to the store and she said, I almost got it. Every time I just about got there, it would cut me off. We have a lot of people just like this, through no fault of the internet, because people are not educated how to use the internet. So this is not anything.
He's surrounded by Chuck Schumer, who hovers over him like a bat from hell, right? Hangs on the shoulder of Satan himself. And Dick Durbin stands over there with this grim look on his face. And I don't know who the sea hag is on the left, but she's got a plastic face that looks like she's had about 80 surgeries on it. She's got coiffed hair that looks like it wouldn't move if she were caught in the middle of the world's largest tornado. And she's got so much lipstick on, she could paint the wall behind her. These people are actually caricatures of humanity. They're a joke. They're so shallow and so hollow. Their interest is merely in pursuing their own beneficial situation. They seek power for power's sake, money for money's sake, and you can be damned. They couldn't care less about you. They consider their job to rule you. Americans across the board have succumbed to the propaganda that puts us in a position where we have allowed this filth to tell us what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, and that we're going to like it even when we don't. I am incensed by a person like Harry Reid, because he epitomizes everything that humanity has a bad name for. All right, I gotta bring something out for you guys. I had a friend of mine who came up with a shirt, and I often don't, AVN. We don't sell anything. We don't sell books. We don't sell, miracle pills to diet with. We don't. We live purely on donations from our listenerships. But this guy gave me this shirt, or a group of them actually, and on them they have a blinking and a controller, an electronic controller, and a sign that says U.S. Congress, U.S. Senate. And he knows my thinking on this, and he had these made up for me, and it says, fire them all. And I don't know if you can see it because of the camera issue, but each one lights up. In fact, you can probably hear the thing humming. The upshot is, he had our logo put on these, and I'll make them available to. There's only a limited number of them. I think there were only 15 or 20 of them total. And I'll make them available to our listenership if you're interested. I'll talk about it a couple times during the course of today or tomorrow or until they're gone. There are a couple that are silk screened. There are one or two that were embroidered. And, they're not, but it's the kind of thing you can wear to protest, and it's actually pretty cool because it lights up sequentially each line, right? And again, the line says, U.S. Congress, U.S. Senate, fire them all. And it's perfectly in time for the 2014 election. So if you're interested, I'll ship it to you, and I'll include shipping and everything. The truth is that they cost a little bit of money from him, and we'll do them for, let's say, $30. How's that? I know that's probably more than they're worth, but it'll give you an opportunity to get something for your money. And if you want that, send me an email to Mike. Now, by the way, they're only in like an XL size. That's the only size there are. I do have some other ones that I've had. When I went over there to pick them up, I went to the printer and asked him to silk screen some other stuff that's out there. There's some ladies' blue jean vests that are coming. There's some sweatshirts, some regular blue, like pullover polos, knit polos, and there's some different sizes. So I'll make some available to you guys. They're just silk screen. They're nothing, ultra fancy. If you're interested, just give me an email at mike@americasvoicenow.org. What we'll need to do is you can just go and make a PayPal payment through our website, and then we'll ship them straight over to you. Of course, you need your address for shipping. So, anyway, here's the deal, guys. Part of what we're going to talk about as we go forward today, and the theme of this, is what do I do to solve the problems in our country? Because the truth is, without solutions, all we're doing is complaining. And the raw truth of this thing is that in order for us to fix America, we have to begin to act, and act as partisans. Now, I'm not advocating anything illegal, and I'm going to preface this statement. We've only got 2 minutes left. I'm going to preface this statement for the purposes of the NSA and the FBI and everybody else who's listening and waiting for me to make a mistake and slip up so that they can yank me off the air. I'm not advocating anything illegal. I'm not advocating that you do and commit violence or anything along those lines. What I am advocating that you do is within civil, peaceful, disobedient means that you do anything and everything in your power to throw sand in the gears, to drag this thing to a screeching halt by actively working anywhere and everywhere that you can. Every chance you have, whatever your job is, whether you are a work-at-home mom, whether you are retired, every one of us has an opportunity to do something to gum up the works. I don't care if it's just sitting down and getting these people on the phone and making them explain themselves hour after hour after hour. I don't care if it's going to a school board meeting and raising Cain. I don't care if it's going to a city council meeting and exposing it for what it is. Start videotaping them and expose them for what they are when they do things just locally. This doesn't have to be on a national level, guys. What I want you to start doing is thinking outside the box and figuring out how can I, as a peaceful citizen partisan, begin to make a difference. I want to be a Lilliputian who gets my little tiny pin into the clothing of Gulliver. And I'm going to drag him, along with millions of my compatriots, to a screeching halt. That, folks, is something we can do. And we can do it with the knowledge that we are, create massive amounts of paperwork for them. Make them create massive paperwork for you. File Freedom of Information Acts. File floods of them. They cost you nothing. They don't cost anything for a Freedom of Information Act to file. Pick a topic, pick a subject, pick an agency you can't stand, state or federal. File Freedom of Information Acts under sunshine laws to get information from them. Make them compile the information and give it to you. We'll cover a lot of other ways as we move forward during the course of today. But I want you to start thinking and writing down ways. Don't just think about them. Write them down. We'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to America's Voice Now. My name is Michael Evans. You can email me directly at mike@americasvoicenow.org. That's mike@americasvoicenow.org. Email me directly and give me your ideas. Do it hypothetically. But I'd like to hear your ideas. Keep them legal, keep them clean, and let's make sure that we're sharing this information. I'll put together a list of your ideas and we'll post them. We'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to America's Voice Now.